A child was killed at age 14 by several teenagers that beat her up, leaving bruises and cuts across her body, and dragged her to a wide-open lake and threw her in, knowing she couldn't swim, and left her to drown. Her soul left her body and descended into the fires of hell, for her soul was corrupted from the moment she was born. As she descends into hell, she is unconscious and smacks hard against the floor miles from Satan's throne, instantly waking up. She slowly gets up and is not scared at all, and walks and sees demons of all sorts torturing men, women, and children. As she walks, demons just stare at her with their dark, demonic, beady eyes. Still walking, she felt strange, like her body was teleported, and smacked headfirst into Satan's chest. He chuckled. She didn't shake in fear. She was extremely calm. Satan walked behind her and put his arms on her shoulders and speaks. "You seem like you don't remember what brought you here." He laughs. "Your memory doesn't serve you here." He leads her over to a round table with 2 chairs, walks in front of her over to the table to pull out a chair and gestures towards it. She walks over and sits down. He walks around the table, pulls out a chair, and sits on the other side. Satan puts his hand out, and a lava orb appears in his hand, glowing, and it moves it in front of her. Stare deep into this orb, and you'll remember some things. She stares deeply into the orb and relives the important parts of her life. She sees a white-skinned, long, beautiful black hair, a cute and adorable face you can never say no to, with blue eyes and an innocent smile. Looking little girl at age 5, playing in a room with a doll and a little boy just staring out the window. He turns around, grabs at the doll, and walks over to the window and throws it out. The little girl gets up and pushes him out of the window. He falls out the window, and she looks out onto the ground. The boy fell face first on the pavement and died instantly with a small pool of blood around him. The memory switches to another with the same girl in an elementary school. She is drawing a picture of stick figures with crayons to what seems like her mother and father holding a little girl's hand and a little boy laying face first on the ground in a little pool of blood. She showed her teacher, which was probably in her 20s. The teacher looked terrified when she saw the picture. She called the little girl's parents to have a meeting. The child was brought out into the hallway where things were hard to hear through the door for the child, even though the child ignored everything they said. The teacher spoke about the drawing and asked, was there anything wrong at home? The mother and father responded with a sigh. Her younger brother fell out of our second-story window a few days ago. I think she's still traumatized by what happened. The mother was talking too fast about how her little boy was going to do great things when he got older. The father calmed her down, and the teacher said, I'm sorry for your loss, but we can't have her drawing such things around the other students. The father sighed and nodded. The door opened, and the father and mother walked out of the room, and the little girl was smiling and put her hands up, wanting to be picked up. The father picks her up and walks up the school building. The memory transitions to the same child, older age, looking 14. She's walking up to a high school, smiling, walking through the door. There are groups and groups of students sitting in the cafeteria, chatting about important and non-important things. She looks around for someone and spots a girl with long purple and pink hair wave her over. She walks over to her and says, "Hey, what's up, Katrin?" Katrin had long purple and pink hair, eyes were blue, and always wore a blue and black dress. Katrin giggles. "Nothing, just waiting for school to start." A guy walks by and bumps into Katrin's arm. He looks at her and grumbles, "Ugly slut." He walks away still grumbling, and Katrin runs off crying as the 14-year-old child chases after her, and she bumps into 3 other guys. They look at her, smirking, and walks past chatting to one another. The memory ends, and the orb she was staring into stops glowing, and Satan sets it on the table. "You must not remember anything, mainly because you were drowned and smacked your head on a rock or something before you died." She didn't respond, but felt cold air breeze past her, and she shivered. Satan leaned back in his chair, so the front 2 pegs were a little off the floor. Satan says, "Now that you're dead," she opens her mouth and says in an angry tone, I want to go back for my vengeance against humanity for killing me." Satan raises an eyebrow at her. "Do you even know who you're talking to?" In that tone of voice, "You're talking to Satan, the king of the hell. I can throw you into the eternal flame for all of eternity." She grumbles and she frowns. Satan sighs. "Fine, you're already doing my work for me, so I guess you want to be a killer in the dark for Satan." She nods. He smiles and claps his hands together once. Wonderful. Have a fun time back on Earth, killing God's people in the name of Satan. He laughs a deep and demonic laugh and snaps his fingers, and she wakes up at the bottom of the lake.